Welcome to my dungeon. Today I'm excited to kick off a brand new, massive solo campaign. It's over 1,000 rolls, it's a brand new book, a brand new world, and it runs on a brand new game system called Enginotica. Ruinhorn is a grimdark fantasy about a declining kingdom in a world that builds itself from your failures, your scars, and the lies you choose to believe. There's no prep, no mercy, just grit, blood, and whatever filthy luck the spiral spits up. So, pour something you'll regret, and we'll crawl and claw and fight through this cursed kingdom, one bad decision at a time. Let's begin. You wake when the wheel catches a rut and the cart lurches hard left. Wood cracks, your shoulder slams into something hard, and someone groans behind you. Might have been you. Rain drums down, cold, filthy stuff that turns the world outside into a smear of gray and mud. You don't know where you're headed, not sure you care. All you know is the throb in your wrists, old chain scars that never quite fade. And the silence heavy, the kind that wraps around a men who've forgotten what hopes even taste like. The cart shudders to a stop, Clubfoot Cross. Gods, even the name sounds broken. It's a soggy little wound of a village stitched together with smoke and rot. Sitting at the edge of some godforsaken mist. Beyond it, high up and far off, Castle Ruinhorn claws at the sky like it's trying to tear the clouds down. You sit, breathe. The air tastes of rust and rain. Memories come, they always do. You were a kid when they sent you to the prison colony. Small hands, big axes. They made you fight. Boys and girls throwing at each other for the amusement of the men who couldn't feel anything anymore. You remember the weight of the axe, the boy you buried with it. The helmet you took off his corpse. The way it felt to finally stop being afraid. You grip your wrists, ghost shackles still there. The driver doesn't say much, just tosses a coin into your lap, a dull clunk of freedom. "Stay out of trouble," he says, like it's a joke. "You're free!" "And you can keep the hat." He jests at your helmet. And just like that, no chains, no walls, no name. You climb down, mud grabs your boots like it wants to keep you. The villagers look your way, not kindly, not curious, just aware. Like they know what you are, or they think they do. The tavern, the broken crown, slouches under the weight of every promise it never kept. A fire pit in front of the tavern smokes lazily, meat hissing it over it. The grease runs with the rain, oil on a dying world. Voices carry from the fire, from the tavern, from the wind even, snatches of deals and curses, whispered names you half recognize and don't want to remember. You rub your wrist, still sore, still yours. The gold sits heavy in your palm, heavy like fate, or a mistake you haven't made yet. The village rots quietly around you. The mist waits beyond. And far above it all, black and jagged and watching, the castle waits. The fire crackles like it's chewing on something that didn't go down easy. You wander closer, not much of a plan, just the kind of aimless shuffle a man makes when the rain's too cold and his stomach's too empty. The cook, if you can call him that, is a barrel-chested wreck of a man with more beard than jaw and a stare like he's forgotten what smiling feels like. He pokes at the fire with a blackened stick, mutters something to the pot, then looks up at you. "Soup," he says. Doesn't ask, just states it like it's the law. You nod, because you're starving, and you've smelled worse things that didn't make you gag. Barely. The pot belches steam and something that might once have been mutton or horse or old leather soaked in sweat. Hard to say. Still, it's hot. And the smell hits the part of your brain that remembers food. He ladles a slop of it into a cracked bowl and holds out a hand without looking. You give him your gold. He grunts, reaches into a pouch and drops 9 silver coins in your palm without counting. Might have even been fair. 10 silver to a gold if anyone's keeping track these days. You take your bowl, it wobbles in your grip like it's trying to escape. Might be the best thing you've had in years. Might kill you. Hard to say. You eat it anyway. The bowl empties. Your gut gurgles like it's confused, but grateful. The cook doesn't look up, just feeding the fire more wood and muttering.
"You got a name?"
The voice lilts, playful, but there's a hook in it. You glance across the fire. A jester draped in faded motley, bells gone dull with rain and time. Face painted in swirls and soot, a grin like a knife. No telling their age or gender, just a flash of color in a world gone gray. Once they danced for the courts, now they drink for silence. They swirl a chipped goblet, wine or blood or both.
"Only names eat at my table,"
they say, voice silk over something broken.
"No name, no story. No story, no point."
You hesitate. The name you give will follow you. Into the dark, into the spiral. Into whatever waits past the next crooked step. Sensing the hesitation, the jester initiates, giving a flourish and a bow.
"Jaskal Ganvul is my name. Go on,"
Jaskal says, voice lower now.
"Say it like it matters, because it will. So speak."
Jaskal watches, one eye a painted spiral, the other a spotlight.
"Last chance, darling,"
they whisper.
"Spiral's listening, and I'd hate for it to call you nobody."
They named you in the fighting pits of the prison camp. And now this is the only name that you remember. And this gives you a table to roll for a name from the prison. I just went ahead and picked the first one, which is Gorehound. You tell Jaskal the name they gave you in prison, the only one you've got. They call me Gorehound. Their grin is sharp, crooked.
"Hells,"
they say.
"I've heard worse, though not by much."
They spit in the dirt and wipe their mouth, eye you like something half wild.
"You can keep it, change it, doesn't matter, but names do stick best when there's blood on them."
Forget prep, forget planning. This isn't that kind of game. This world doesn't wait for your blueprints. It doesn't ask for a map, a backstory, or a binder full of stats. It wants only one thing, your next move. You don't shape the world ahead of time. The world shapes itself around you. Each roll is a strike of the chisel. Every choice, a breath into the lungs of a thing being born. The road doesn't stretch out before you, it forms under your feet. A mountain rises only when you choose to climb it. A name matters only when you speak it. That's the soul of Ruinhorn, emergence. You don't explore a fixed world, you discover one erupting from fog, one heartbeat at a time. Every dungeon, every beast, every betrayal is something you conjure by daring to press forward. It's It's not about knowing. It's about stepping blind into the dark and seeing what bares its teeth. This is a roguelike world where every map is drawn in blood. And so it gives you the option to learn the rules at that point, or since I already know them, you can just skip to the solo game. Jaskal shoves you through the warped door and into the gloom of the broken crown. Smoke rolls slow, thick with ale and disappointment. They press a horn into your hand, a frothy bitter already warming, and push you into a shadowed booth near the stage.
Good seat.
They wink.
Front row for destiny.
Then they're up with a whirl of tattered color and old bells, leaping onto the sagging stage like it still remembered joy. The crowd, leathery barbarians, road wrecked and hail sunk. Don't even flinch, one yawns, another scratches. Jaskal raises their arms and begins. A tale unfolds, not a good one. It's the story of the great King Frederick of Ruinhorn, who conquered half of all Thranduin before he dared glance at Clubfoot. How he died, fallen from the dragon known as Thorindr. Some say throne. How his only heirs, both under 10, succumbed to a family madness. The prince killed his sister. The line nearly ended, but not quite. His brother Yorgmer married the widow, took the throne, stitched the bloodline back together with duty and desperation. Still no heirs now, no children, no crown secure. And Jaskal sings it sad, like a funeral dirge wrapped in laughter, like the spiral's joke played true. Calls it the Clubfoot curse, the reason no king ever took this mud wreck of a town. The crowd doesn't care. One snorts, one throws a peanut. You clap anyway, one slow beat, just enough. Jaskal bows deep, delighted, delusional.
I knew you'd get it. We're going to be great friends.
And they prance off. You stand. The fire is weak, the crowd is worse. The air smells like wet socks and regret. Athma, the barkeep, moves like a woman who's wrestled pigs and won. She's dusting a bottle with a rag that's more stained than cloth, muttering to herself between snorts. You ask if there's any work. She doesn't blink, doesn't even look at you.
Rats,
she says.
Big ones. In the cellar.
You wait, hoping for more.
1 silver a head.
She adds. Then she reaches under the bar and slaps a torch and a rusty knife onto the counter. It's splintered and stained and slightly sticky. Might be blood, might be jam. You don't ask. She jerks her chin toward the rear door and you follow her out the back, past the barrels, the stink, and the hunched figures relieving themselves in the alley. The cellar door squats at the base of a wall. A path leads up the hill to a provisioner. Mold traces its hinges and mud sucks at your boots. Athma pulls it open. The smell that wafts out is all sour rot and bad decisions. She grins, just one black tooth left and proud of it.
Good luck, lad.
Then she slams the door shut behind you. You're alone. Torch in hand. Rats in the dark. The cellar yawns wider than expected. Low stone ceiling, rows of crates. The air reeks old wine, damp wood, and something sharp beneath it. Something nesting. You move slow, torch in hand, ears twitching at every scrape. You round a half-toppled box, and there, scattered hay, gnawed bones, and 9 slick bodies freeze in the dark. A nest. They scatter. You swing. 5-rat nest. So, let's just kill 5 rats real quick. This is pretty straightforward. I have already built my Gorehound character sheet, I distributed my 5 Helix points here to rapport, which is like your charisma or sway, invoke, because I plan on building basically a mage character, mage fighter, I guess, and strength, which is like your fighting melee weapons, is +1. So that's how I did my distribution, and that is not going to be incredibly helpful to me right now with these rats. And then I also gave myself the Pact of Tiamat, which is elemental, magics, fire, airbender shit. It's 9 a.m. in the day. Let's go ahead and roll to swing at a rat with our little knife. All right, so with our first swing, we clinched, which is a tie, which means I only did the bonus damage, and I also took 2 damage, so that's a great way to start. So I hit my knuckle swinging at the first rat, and it still has 1 HP. Swinging at it again, and the same thing happened again. Took another actual physical damage of 2 HP, but it killed that rat. So one of my 5 rats is dead. All right, let's swing again. The next one. Big miss. No. So that's a -5 to our vigor. We'll roll again. All right, there's a hit. That's another dead rat. 3 out of 5 left. And another fuck up. So let's do another down to 34 with my grit. Roll again. Rolling horrible. -4 to my vigor. Puts me at 41. All right, and so let's swing on another rat. Another miss. -2. This is what happens when you go mage. You get beaten in the beginning. Another -1 vigor. And so as you can imagine, I'm just in here flailing around with this knife at all of these rats, missing over and over again, proving that I am poor rat man. I'm not a rat man. All right, finally another big hit. Kill another rat. Down to 2. Another big rat swing. Down to the last rat. All right, and let's kill our last rat. And it's dead. Which brings us to 5 rats, 5 silver. It's not much, but it's honest work. Now we continue to the next page. The cellar's done, or so you think. You're catching your breath when you see it. Behind a busted rack of wine jugs, a low arch sunk in older stone. Cold air leaks out, something sharper rides the draft. You found a crypt. Rats made it a warren. You can make it a dungeon. Let's go ahead and enter the crypt. So there's an interesting method that this game uses for dungeons, where rather than using maps or grids, the dungeons are actually all linked in with sort of dream logic. I don't know, it's kind of hard to explain, but you'll see. Behind a toppled crate, a gap in the stone wall breathes cold. Not built, broken, just wide enough to crawl. Dead rats lie near it, half-eaten. The air stinks of mildew and metal. Something deeper waits, something old. You descend into a basin of slick stone. In the center, a rusted winch clings to a rotting rope that vanishes down a dark shaft. The far wall bears a narrow door cracked open, its edge marked with scratches and dried blood. The left end ends in a stone alcove. The right narrows into a tunnel choked by roots. And let's roll for danger. And so we have beaten the danger roll, which is -1. And let's roll for loot. And we have failed to beat the loot roll. Let's go to this right where it narrows into a tunnel choked by roots. So that takes us to 5. You push through the root-thick tunnel into a damp hollow where the ceiling bows low. In the center, a stone bowl overflows with dark, writhing larvae. You find 2 torches on the ground. The left wall pulses, roots nodding around something buried. Nice, 2 torches. You tear at the roots and they resist, wet, fibrous, almost alive beneath a corpse. Slumps in a hollow of stone. Jaw unhinged in a silent scream. In its arms, a sealed urn slick with sap bears a sigil like a rising flame. The left glistens with hatchling shells. And so, gross. Looks like this is a dead end. I'm gonna leave that urn alone and go back to whence I came. So I go back through the root tunnel and all the way back into the basin of slick stone. And I'm going to look at this other door. The far narrow wall bears a narrow door cracked open. The door groans open into a low vault thick with ash. In the center, charred bones lie scattered in scorched circle. The far wall is broken stone and rubble. Once a shelf, now spilled with ruined scrolls. The left bears a mural of twisted figures in flame. The right crumbles into a stair descending through haze. Let's go down that stair. Let's roll the danger first. And that's a 1 rat situation. So I see 1 rat in the room. And I am able to kill it in 1 shot. So I'm going to add another rat. So I have now 6 rats in my little collection. Lovely. The stairs drop into a chamber drowned in haze. Smoke pools at ankle height, thick and acrid. In the center, a wide fire pit lies long dead, its ash frozen mid-scatter. The far wall buckles inward, split stone braced by wooden beams, 1 cracked. The left stacks with burned crates, some still smoldering. And it looks like this is a dead end, so I'm going to go back to the basin where there was 1 more that I was least excited about. The center where a winch clings to a rotting rope that vanishes down a dark shaft. So we're going to go down that. The rope groans with each footfall until you drop into a cold chamber of shattered tile and mildew. In the center, a broken fountain coughs brackish water across the floor. At the far wall, a heavy grate seals a tunnel. The left crumbles into a heap of skeletal remains. The right dissolves into a crawl space. Let's roll the danger. And we are okay. So we'll go down into this crawl space. The crawl space scrapes your back until it opens into a cramped vault of mossy brick. In the center drips black liquid thick and foul. The far wall vanishes into a narrow well sunk in shadow. The left wall is claw-scarred, deep and recent. The right hides a torn rat-chewed satchel, level 4 loot, wedged in the crack. Okay, so we're gonna roll our first loot. And level 4 loot is rare loot. Barely. So let's roll it. And so we roll on a D100 3 times to see what kind of loot we got. And so we got 6. Gilded. So I just put that on my character sheet. 28. Chalice. Lame. Maybe it's enchanted. Let's see what the third thing is. 19. Shifts with light. Okay. All right. Pretty lame. Okay, so Gilded Chalice shifts with light, and that is level 4. So I ask the shards, I roll, and if it's positive, it gets a random enchantment, and if it's negative, it gets a magic resistance random. So it's negative, a level 4 magic resistance item. Let's see what item. Just jump over. This is why you like having these things in the front cover. It's these handy little, when you just need a pact real quick. And so we'll just roll the white die here to determine the pact. And I get to pick if it's 1 Bagoa. So this is a level 4 Bagoa resistance. Yeah, okay. So kind of a niche item, but it's worth some money. So I'm gonna use it. I'm probably gonna sell it to someone. What was that? value it said it had, I forgot. Anyway, we'll look at it later. So not the best item, but we'll take it. The far wall vanishes into a narrow well sunk in shadow, so let's go in there. You descend slowly, the stone slick beneath your grip. The well empties into a round chamber no wider than a crypt. In the center, a waxen idol leans sideways, its face melted, its eyes gouged. The far wall is sealed stone, dry and heat-scarred. The right seeps a thin line of smoke from a hairline fracture. So there's also a little exit there. So let's roll the danger in this room. And so we're good on even danger. You follow the drag marks to a sealed wall, a hidden catch clicks, stone shifts, revealing a chamber lined with scorched prayer flags. In the center, an open sarcophagus brims with ash and snapped chains. The left smears with soot handprints, the right winds into a narrow hall choked with smoke. Okay, let's check the danger. Ugh. So that's going to be -8, so 7. 7 rats I got to kill now. All right, let's get to these rats. These 7 filthy rats. All right, rat number 1, taking a swing at it. Miss. And so taking 2 to my vigor, down to 35. All right, there's a smash. -5. Minus +1, so that's -4. And we're +3, so that kills another rat for us. 2 out of 7. 3 out of 7. Smashing rats. This is what I do. I'm a rat smashing guy. It's a skill I have. All right, -6 +1, -5. Let's check the book for when I need to drink water and when I need to eat, because we might actually be pushing our luck. So 15 vigor or less, you need water. 5 vigor or less, you need food, or else you'll be in pain. So that's the deal. All right, so back to room 13. The hall narrows until it ends at a soot-black wall. In the center, a statue slumps forward, headless, hands cupped as if offering something long removed. Beneath, a shallow bowl collects dripping condensation from the ceiling above. The left wall bears a faint outline of a door long sealed. And so that is a dead end. So we go back to 13. And from there we go back to 10. And from here we go back to 9. And so we have the idol, and then we have the hairline fracture. The right seeps to a thin line of smoke from a hairline fracture at 11. You press near the fracture, and the fracture in the stone gives with a dry groan. A crack splits wider, revealing a crawl space dense with smoke. On hands and knees, you enter a chamber scorched black, the air thick and hot. In the center, a cracked gong hangs from rusted chains. The stone wall on the right is trembling. All right, I like a gong. Should bang it. Let's roll the danger. We're good on danger. Let's roll loot. +3 loot, so that's a piece of shabby loot. I'll take it. This is level 3 loot. And it is 57. Bleeding, off to a bad start. Bag of strange seeds, coated in webbing. Okay. I'm not even gonna, yeah, there's no enchantments with shabby loot, so it's just is what it is, which is some seeds. Well, we tried, kids. All right, back to business. Room 12. The wall shudders and steady pulses if it's breathing. When touched, the stone feels soft, warm like skin stretched thin. With pressure it tears, behind it a fleshy tunnel lined with veined membranes pulsing faintly with each heartbeat of the place. The far side is a living throat that weeps clear fluid. Okay, getting scary. Let's roll the danger. -2, 2 rats. Killed the first one. Huge miss on the second one, -7. So that puts me down to 19. Jeez. So if I lose 4 more vigor, I'm going to be in pain if I don't find some food. All right, we got that. So we're up to 15 rats, but yeah, if we take... There was that water sitting in that condensation, and I could go back and I could drink that water, but then I'd have to roll on the contamination table. So let's see if we can find it. What's the worst that could happen, right? All right, so back to 11, back to 9. And so we have to go back through the idol to 13, sarcophagus. Here we go, back to 14. A shallow bowl collects dripping condensation from the ceiling above. So we're gonna drink this water, like freaking legends. So that means we're gonna need to check the exposure table. All right, so water rules. Water must be boiled or purified before drinking, blah, blah, blah. Drinking raw untreated water always triggers exposure at -3. If running, and -5 if stagnant. Okay, that was maybe a mistake. Let's roll the exposure table at -5 and see how stupid that was. That was stupid. Okay, so we're -5 here, plus -5. Violent illness. We're in pain, and we lose 1d10 stamina per hour until treated. So I'm gonna say that it's 10 p.m. now. 10 a.m. I mean. And we rolled a violent illness. We're gonna get out of this dungeon while we can still walk. I think we're gonna have to try and get back to town and see if we can, see if there's a healer in this town. And maybe our 15 silver from our rats will get us there. All right, so let's start backtracking out of this dungeon. We're gonna exit, back out the sealed wall, past the idol made of wax, back up the stone chamber, and through this crawl space that scrapes our back. We're gonna climb that rope. And so since we're in pain, everything we do is -1. I guess since we did drink the water, it's still gonna restore our vigor for now. But yeah, we're losing a D10 every hour until we get treatment, which is gonna get costly. But ultimately, we did complete this quest enough for now. You haul the carcasses up the stairs, arms dripping with rat slime and pride. Athma squints at the pile, counts with a grunt. 1 silver each, she says, sliding the coins across the bar without ceremony. And keep the knife, it suits you. You add the silver and the torch to your inventory. Not much, but enough. Athma leans in, lowering her voice like it might matter. If you're smart, you'll take that coin back around past the wine cellar up the path to the provisioner Vander and get yourself some supplies rather than spend it on ale. She jerks a thumb toward the door. You know the way. All right, you go back out and around toward the cellar, and this time take the path up to the provisioner. You go in and look at the inventory to see if there's anything you want. Once you finish with the provisioner, return here and continue to the next section. And I'm actually going to skip that for right now because I don't think the provisioner has what I need, which is something to heal this sickness. So I'm going to actually go to the next part, which is your first spell. And this is just part of the tutorial. I guess I'll do it just for the sake of you guys watching to see how it demonstrates this in the game. You swung torches, braved the dark, crawled out of a cellar dripping, red and half mad. Okay, so it has you just cast a spell just to experience how it works in this game. And so I'm gonna cast a 1-inch little bit of fire. Man, I could have done that in the water. I could have tried to like cast fire on it to boil it. That would have been smart. All right, so I'm just gonna cast a 1 inch and I'll show you guys what this looks like. So here's the spells. So you got range, size, duration. And so when you're rolling a spell, if it's 1 inch size, as you can see here, and duration just for a flash, there's no nerf, so it's just a straight roll. And whatever success it has will modify the duration. So let's roll a spell. Hey, we got it. So we have +3 invoke, +4 on this roll. So that's a +7, which that means that it would burn for a whole day. And so I'm just sitting there holding this little fire and looking at it and realizing that I have incredibly powerful magic at my fingertips, literally. So we did that part of the tutorial. And the last step of this tutorial is to actually build the rest of Clubfoot Cross. And so I'll show you how this works here. Here you have the current places we've been. And then this next page, you have the provisioner. And then after the provisioner, you have 2 paths that split from here. And using these paths, we're going to now build the rest of the town. And so we'll start with the weed-choked lane. And so I'm gonna bring up weed-choked lane. I just use ordinals to mark the location. Okay, and so now I'm gonna go to the settlement building kit. So we're gonna go to world building and to the settlements section, and we'll check out the settlement town generation. Okay, so for mapless town generation, we are just going to roll and see what this leads to. So let's roll and see what we got. +5, 2 paths. And let's roll the white. First dice will be what we have here. So town crier. And so from this town crier, and we also have that secondary path. So it looks like this town's gonna grow pretty, well, we'll see. And then 75.6. All right, so we are going to keep on this same road. I'll just put other path. Let's roll the other path first. So first we roll how many exits it has. +4, 2 paths. Okay, and let's roll what it is. We already have town crier, so we'll re-roll it. Apothecary. That's exactly what I need. But a church would be better. I think we're gonna have them all though. So we'll take this crier one and we'll put 75.7. How many paths is this one? -4 dead end. But even a dead end still has a proprietor. Let's roll the proprietor. 6, a tanner. Okay, so now we have one more exit here. We'll call this 75.8 from the crier. That's how you do it, people. This is how you just generate a procedurally generated town. So this has 1 path, and it is and 2 blacksmith. So here we have a blacksmith. All right, so let's check these actually, let's just finish this blacksmith path. We'll make this one 75.9, dead end. And what is it? A 1 and a 4, stables, 75-10. And it has 1 path, and it is Hexbinder. Okay, and let's go back to this apothecary, and we'll make this one 75-11. So it looks like it's gonna be everything in this town, hopefully, but I still haven't gotten a church, which is kind of what I need. -3 is still 1 path, and it's a church. There we go. And an annex. And so as you can see, you just sort of build this as you go. And I could stop here, or I could keep building this town as needed. I don't have an authority yet of everything else. So I'm gonna keep going to see if we get everything in the town. So we'll start from Hexbinder here. We'll do 75. And there's our authority. All right, so now we have everything you can get in the town is now here. All right, so let's go to the church and maybe we can get some kind of healing. So we'll put it at 11 a.m. just for all this mucking about. And I'll go ahead and roll a d10. 9. Puts me down to 41 vigor. And I'm just clutching in my stomach. I don't have rats. I need to turn these rats into silver. Okay, so let's take a look at a church. Sanctuary, treachery, and salvation. The church will absolve your sins for a price. 1 baptism grants 1d10 sanity and no questions asked. After that, confession costs 10 silver per penance for the faithful. If you become baptized, you can then seek jobs from the church. These jobs are mostly delving and guiding the faithful to the ever another. Don't drink this stagnant water, kids at home. This is the lesson we're learning today in this wonderful game. So I walk into the church and approach the priest, and I say, I am quite ill, Father. Have you any mercy for me? And I'm going to use my fragments to push the answer on this, and this is a good chance to kind of discuss how these work. Fragments are your meta currency in the game. Whenever you roll a -5 on anything, you get a fragment, and you can basically use this to modify any roll. So this roll I'm doing right now is not the best. I'm going to put 3 on it to try and make sure it happens. So let's see if we can get some healing. This guy's generous. Alas, my son, I cannot heal your illness simply because you asked. If God would require us to have you make a suitable offering. If you are willing to pay 9 silver for the 9 trauma that I must cure, I could help you. And I really need the violent illness to be gone, so I'm going to accept this really horrible deal, and that takes me from 15 to 6 silver. Basically, like I did all that delving for nothing. And so the priest, go ahead and lay down on the altar. He starts waving his hands over my stomach and says, "Hoogalalala." And then he offers me some sacramental wine to drink and says, "Lay here for an hour." And I do. And after an hour, I am cured. And I'm going to make it cure my grit too, because that was expensive for a poor fool like me. All right. It's now noon of day 1. So now that I've cured my illness, and considering how little money I have, let's look at the church quest. Because all of these proprietors all have quests and kind of a build path or a way you can approach the game. So, but the church has one that requires an initiation. So to earn their trust and gain access to quests, complete your first task. Go to page 304. So let's see. So I'm just going to read this page for you. You ask the robed brother behind the shrine if there's delving work. He doesn't answer, just gives you a long look and gestures. Down. They take you into necropolis beneath the church, a tunnel of bones and ash where the air tastes like old wax and forgotten breath. You pass faded saints with hollow eyes, candles sputter but never go out. Eventually you're led into a chamber that might have once been a tomb, now it's an office. Blackwood desks, skulls shelved like books. The priest doesn't look up when you enter, just scratches calmly with a quill, writing something in a curled script you don't recognize. His hands are pale, his robe stained at the cuffs. He finishes his line, blows the ink dry, and finally speaks.
I understand you're interested in serving the church with your particular skills.
His voice is soft, measured, like a man who's decided 1,000 fates before breakfast.
In normal times, that would have been unlikely, but these are not normal times. We need people who can act without hesitation, who can deliver outcomes quietly.
He leans back, watches you the way a spider watches a fly consider the web.
I know you're touched by the spiral, and I intend to use that in time. But before I trust you with my faithful, my precious congregants, I need a demonstration.
He lifts a hand and taps one finger against the black wood.
There is a man, Aklabar, Win, one of ours, but he snapped, took one of our sisters and defiled her body. She was already dead when they found him, but still he was,
He lets the silence stretch.
Unfortunately, his family is esteemed. Ties to the High Dawn that makes public reckoning impossible, but justice, real justice, is still required.
His eyes narrow.
That's where you come in.
He opens a drawer and drops a heavy pouch onto the desk. Gold clinks inside, sharp and promising.
The man is holed up at the Broken Crown and Clubfoot Cross. You'll go there, find him, remove him. No witnesses, no body. When it's done, bring me his head, or something close enough. You'll be paid 3 bags of gold, and I will cleanse your soul in the eyes of Akvil, baptize you. Wash this stain clean. No sin, no weight. You'll be a servant of the light, pure.
He picks up his quill again, dips it in ink.
That is if you return.
He doesn't say goodbye, just starts writing again. The candle beside you sputters, and your name is already forgotten. But you remember the name of the target, Aklabar, and the 3 bags of gold.
So that is a pretty promising bag. So at 10 silver a gold, and that's 3d10 bags of gold, so it could vary, but that's still going to be so much money. So we're going to go kill Aklabar. That's what we're going to do. Let's pull up our mappy map. And so we are at the church, and so we need to get to... I don't think I put the exits in for these. So I'm just going to add these exits because that's part of making these maps. It's always having your exits. Okay, so we just did a little update just to clean some of this up, and I wanted to add the Broken Crown, the Wine Crypt Provisioner. These are all in the book, but I just want them in my map so that my map is all here. So we're at the church. And we can exit to the apothecary. And I haven't been rolling danger in this town. Let me double check the settlement danger really quick, just to make sure we're not, it's pretty low usually, but that way we're just doing everything correctly. Danger level's -6 in a town, so pretty low, but we'll still mess with it. All right, so back at the apothecary, we're gonna roll our -5 danger, we're fine. And from the apothecary, we're gonna exit to the weed-choked lane, which will take us to the provisioner, back to the wine crypt, and then back to the Broken Crown. And so we need to get in here and try and keep an eye on this Akbar guy. I'll read the interior of the Broken Crown. Low beams sag under the smoke. The hearth spits weak light across the warped floors and carved tables. A cracked stage slumps in the back. Behind the bar, Athma polishes bottles dustier than memory. A strange flock of degenerates here tonight. They are tastes of sour ale, burnt bread, and bad decisions. I'm going to go up to Athma and order a drink. I'm debating if I want to ask her to identify Aklabar for me or if he's there. Because I am, actually, we could roll the patronage too. Let's do a quick, I'll show you guys how to do that. Every tavern has a mood. It shifts with the land around it. War, peace, rumors, wealth. When you enter a tavern, roll the danger check, set the tone. Okay, so let's see what the tone is here. +2. Warm and open. You're greeted with nods. Someone offers a seat. Folk are in good spirits, but not rowdy. Roll a d10 for crowd size. 1 to 9, that many patrons. Typical evening. 10, double crowd. 20 patrons. Okay. So there's only about 4 people here, and so it shouldn't be too hard to identify with them. I'm going to, I don't really want to tell Athma my business, because if I'm trying to be really sneaky, I don't know what people's relationships are. So I'm just going to buy a drink from Athma. Well, you're looking a little less peaked than you did. I need to figure out how to do a female orc's voice. These all just suck.
Yeah, I was retching quite a bit. Think I could get an ale from you?
I told you should go spend that money at the provisioner, but have it your way. I ain't one to judge.
Beer costs 1 silver, so I'll just lower my funds. And I'll take my ale, and I'm gonna just meander a little bit and try and see if I can get a handle on a way to identify Aklabar and if he's here. So I'm just gonna sort of like lean against like a beam and take in what I'm seeing. And I think I'll just ask the shards. I'll be like, do I feel like I have a good idea who it is? No but. So I'm gonna say that the but is there's 4 patrons here. And so he's waiting for help, and he's a priestly man. So maybe the but is one of them, only one person is not drinking. I'm gonna mosey up to the person that's not drinking, and I'm going to stand nearby, and I want to say something that would get a follow-up from a church person, kind of like, it's a good day to, or, it's a good day to be one with the Lord, or what's some shit that a church person would say to dog whistle another church person.
This place could use a touch of the Lord.
That's a good line. That's what we're going to say. This place could use a touch of the Lord. I'm going to walk up to this guy and say that. And so that's going to trigger a rapport roll, which is -+1. So I got a little bit of a something there. And we need to build Aklabar. Let's do that now, because obviously if I'm going to kill this guy at some point, I'm going to probably need to fight him. So let's build him out. And so I'll show you guys how to build an NPC. And with this game, NPCs have the exact same, they have the exact same character sheet as a player. They work the exact same. So there's not any different type of like DC or anything like that. They have the same rules. But the quick way to put one together is to do D10 or roll the D19 for all of the spiral helices real quick. So let's just do that. And it's just whatever it is. So his strength is +6. Dang. That's not good. 6 strength is way stronger than me. His precision is +1. Hopefully, but the thing about these though is they're extreme, and so he can have weaknesses too, but he's not showing any. He has 2 invocation as well. So this guy is right now just like better than me in every way. Okay, so his rapport is weak, so I can work with that. So influence is one angle, and so this question I'll probably get a good answer. Let's see. 3, -3 agility. He's not agile, so I should always be able to, I guess, run. Running will always be an option. And his logic is -2. So, typical church person, not the smartest tool in the shed. And let's also roll his archetype. His archetype is his impression. Yeah, let's see what his impression is. Oh, good. So he's got a very positive impression. This is going to be easy to get him where I want him, but not easy to kill him. So this is going to be a little tricky. Yeah, let's roll his archetype real quick. Okay, so he's a 3 achiever. Driven, adaptable, image focused, craves success, admiration, fears failure, or being seen as weak. So this guy is going to be easy either way. Most of these really don't kick in until the impression is low. That's where the specifics, because when they're positive, a lot of these personalities affect you the same way. So we'll see how long he feels good about us. And we could do a quick, roll his features and kind of what he looks like and stuff. Let's see. We'll even roll and see what kind of weapons and whatnot he has. We'll just do the whole thing. Quick character maker. Salient. So let's roll on his salient feature. And a salient feature is it's an important part of a good theater of the mind game is to have really strong things that stick out about someone, like big ears or funny nose, or the first thing that really pops out, that a child would notice, that sticks in your brain. It makes it easier to remember. So let's roll it. 6. Crooked hawk nose. Okay. His motif. His motif is more like his dress or his style aesthetics. 92. Feathers tied in his hair. And his milieu is what he comes from, what shaped him, the world he's from. And so, 37. Gravebound necromancer. Dang. What the hell? This isn't good. I mean, I can't not give him the Chasm Pact with that sort of background, especially if he's got +2 invocation. So yeah, this is going to be a thing. I'm gonna have to earn my gold. So giving him the Chasm Pact. Okay, let's look at his gear. So we can use this quick arming table. And this is a great, or I could play it I don't necessarily know what he's carrying, but let's go ahead and roll it now, just to get all of this out of the way. And then we'll just play it out and see how it goes. So the arming table, again, just roll 3 tables. In Ruinhorn, you have your main hand, your offhand, and then you choose a defense item, like a helmet or breastplate, and that's how you kind of set up your kit. So you can see main hand, offhand, defense, and so you also, when you organize your gear, just put it next to the thing to help keep track of it. So let's roll his main hand. 43. Barrel hand crossbow. I'm just gonna roll a d10 for the level of that crossbow. It's really more the arrows that he's holding, but whatever. So it's a +3, and we'll just give him 10 +3 bolts. All right, and that makes sense for a little hand crossbow anyway. 37. So in his offhand, he has a rusty lantern. That's actually something I wouldn't mind having, just for delving. And his defense item is painted bone harness. It's time to get down to business. Let's just roll it and hope for the best. This guy's in a good mood. He's in good spirits. And so let's go with the question. This place could use a touch. What was it? This place needs a little more of the Lord in it. I'll just say whatever. I'm gonna assume I know the name of the light or the high dawn. I'm just gonna say it's a good day to be in the high dawns, in the glory of the high dawn. Let's roll it. Okay, let's see what happens. Okay, positive roll, but only +1. And so my rapport Gorehounds is only 1. So that's +2 up against 4. So I'm -2, but I have a +8 impression modifier, which puts me at +6. +6 is just a solid yes. And so Aklabar responds,
Yes, it is a wonderful day. A good day to be here in the Lord's fine graces. He is smiling on us, you can feel it. Would you like to join me, my friend?
And I say, I guess we've established this is Aklabar. I'm gonna introduce myself though. I'm gonna say, my name is Hector. And I guess Aklabar's Nacho Libre, based off of his accent that I've given him. So I'm gonna say,
it is good to meet you, and I will join you. My name is Hector. What is your name?
Another positive roll. He says,
I am Aklabar, and I am also a devout follower of the Church of the High Dawn. It is good to meet a brother. You aren't by chance looking for me, are you?
And I'm a little taken aback by this.
No, I'm just here, and I noticed that I could sense that you were a good man of the high spirit, and so I thought I would join you and, share our mutual love for the church. Ah, yes, this is so true. I am such a lover of the church. So are you from here, Clubfoot? I have not seen you before. Ah, no, I am traveling on mission, or to worship. I want to set up an orphanage to help the children.
Okay, let's roll on that. Another positive roll. This is going to be pretty easy to get him with this impression. And so he is really going to eat out of my hand. And so I want to cut to the chase. I want to get him somewhere private. I need to think of a lie that will get him out to like the woods outside of town. Somewhere, oh, I know, I'll take him into the crypt. How can I get him down there? And how do I not die when I fight him? That's the real question, because I think that I probably will. I'm gonna have to maybe do a Hail Mary, like fire, because if I can burn him hard enough, if I can burn him over 25% of his body, it'll stay burning a D10 per round, and I might be able to kill him before he kills me if I can get a backstab too. Backstab is double damage. So what's gonna be my bullshit to get him into the wine crypt? My lovely daughters. I have lovely daughters, orphans to meet? No. What would promote? Ooh, I'm gonna say that I saw an ancient glyph from the old, okay, I think I've got it.
Let me tell you, Aklabar, I was looking for a little bit of work and did some exterminating for the proprietor of this fine tavern. And they have, in their wine crypt, out in the back, I saw the most incredible relic built into the facade, an ancient marking, a relief carved in our church's name. Let me show it to you. You would appreciate this. I showed the bar people and they did not have any interest.
Okay, let's roll on it. Ooh. -5.
Oh, well, I really need to stay here for a while because I am waiting for someone. Oh, of course. Of course, I would never want to pull you away, but it would only take a moment. We would be back in just a few minutes. It is just around back.
I don't think I should get to push though. You know, one of the things I like to avoid is kind of just trying to re-roll or re-ask the same question. I think he shut that one down. And so I need to regroup and just drink my drink and make nice conversation. I'm just gonna wait till he goes to the bathroom and I'm gonna do him wherever he goes. Let's ask the dice, let's see if the shards say there's a bathroom in the building or if it's outside. Is the bathroom for the crown outside? Yes. So there's no bathroom on the inside, and so he'll have to go outside to relieve himself. And so I'm just gonna buy him drinks.
Of course, well, let me buy you a drink, another round for me and for a couple men of faith. And he's, oh, that is so nice of you. That is so kind. I accept your gift.
Of course he accepts it. Well, does he? Yes, he does. All right, so I'm going to update my funds and I call out, now I only have 3 silver, freaking broke. I need to use all those fragments to kill this guy, but man, bags of gold would just change the whole game right now. Okay. So we drink, we commiserate, and I just don't really say more than I have to. And I'm gonna ask the shards, I think probably an hour has gone by anyway. So I'm gonna say it's 2 p.m. actually. And I'm gonna roll to see if by now needs to go to the bathroom. Yes. Okay.
My back teeth are floating, my friend. I must go and relieve myself.
I said,
oh, I'll join you.
We already mentioned when we walked back to the wine crypt that there were all kinds of people relieving themselves in the alley behind it. So that's probably where he's gonna go. So I'm gonna use this opportunity to point out the wine crypt and get him to go down there while we're peeing. So I stand next to him as we're finishing up draining the lizards. I point to the door and I say, oh, let me show you the thing, it's right there. I'll give myself one more chance with that one, and I got it.
Oh, sir, let me have a quick look.
And I take him down and I lead him into the rat warren area. And I'm wondering if I should push him, try to get him all the way into the tunnel. Nah, I don't want to risk him saying no. So I'm going to point to, there's going to be a stack of pallets or barrels, something that he'd have to turn his back and look behind. And I'm going to say, it's right over here. Come and have a look. Let me show you. He goes to take a look. Now I've got his back. He trusts me completely. And I need to first give him my best rusty knife stab in the back. And try and get big damage with that. I'm gonna definitely get initiative in this situation. So +2 rusty knife, +1 strength. Let's just roll it. Ugh. Yeah, I'm not gonna use any fragments. I'm gonna save them. I need them for the fire. And hopefully that fire will do what I need it to do. All right, yes. Good, okay. So that's a +6 force. +1 strength is 7. And then +2 from the knife is 9. So I successfully just plant that rusty knife right in Akbar's back like just a dirty backstabbing piece of trash that I am. And so that's gonna do, what's his, I didn't look up his defense. I don't think that's gonna work on a backstab, but it's a +7. Ugh. So he's got a lot of defense that's, I don't think it's gonna even help me much. Okay, so first let's do, that's not gonna help him in a backstab. So first let's hit his grit, 18. Okay, so 18 brings him down to 22. That is great. If I can get him down to 15, we'll wound him too. So I've got 2 more moves. I need to go hard with this, with a big Tiamat roll. So Akbar's screaming, my back! What did you do? And I'm going to cast a fireball. I'll show you real quickly the casting mechanism I'm using. It's right here. This is what's in the inside cover of the book. It's what I use, or you'll probably, it's what I use the most. So I need the 2 yard +2 for 1 yard size. 1 yard, it will be over 25% of his body. And I need it to just 10 seconds. Let's do +3. Actually, yeah, we'll do 10 seconds. That'll give me a couple of rounds. And red, so that's +3 difficulty. And I have 6 fragments. I'm gonna use all of them. So that'll modify it, plus I have 3 invoke. So it's gonna that's gonna wash basically the Tiamat roll, and then I'll have +6 on the roll. So let's do it. Yes. Okay, so that's +5 +6, that's 11. And the focus will be duration. So this is gonna burn him, like he's gonna burn. He has a massive burn wound covering a huge part of his body. That is going to cause pain, and that'll slow him down. So that'll give him disadvantage on basically all of his rolls. And we have the 9 damage here, which brings this to 11. And I still have 1 more roll. And so maybe I can get lucky, but he's gonna have to roll burn damage at the end of his turn. So I think that'll probably, okay, let's see what happens. Should I try? Yeah, I should try and hit him again I'm gonna try and burn him again. My last move. Yeah. Yes. So this time it's invoke 2 plus 8 is 10. So that's 7 damage. So he's down to 4, which means he is now also maimed, which means he now has, I didn't deduct the difficulty though. So I need to add 3 back. So he's only down to 7. Actually, it's his turn. He's got 7 grit. This is gonna be tough. So he has the crossbow and he has chasm. There's nothing dead because I cleared out all the rats for him to call. So he's gonna go with the bolts, and he's probably gonna just shoot me over and over. So he is bloody and screaming. Strength 6. Precision 1 though. I mean, he'd be better off to hit me with something, but all he's got is that rusty lantern. Yeah, the crossbow's in his hand. So he's gonna crossbow me. And so he shoots -3, -2, and a miss. Oh, thank God. He misses me with the first one. He misses with his second bolt. He's also in pain, so he's losing vigor. Lost like a couple from each of those. One last shot. And he misses a third time. I like it when their luck is bad instead of mine. So now that it's the end of Aklabar's turn, we have to roll a d10 because he's on fire. And that would probably explain why his shots weren't great. So 1d10 fire damage now from the lingering fire. Oof. And that's an 8. So Aklabar falls to his knees, screaming in pain from the burning, and falls down. Why did you do this to me? And so it's said to go back to a certain page when he's dead. So let's do that. And then I'll collect all of his stuff. It has to have a crossbow now. That's sick. All right, we won a fight, guys. We did it. That's awesome. This guy was really tough. This could have gone really bad, and our luck has been kind of bad this first session, to be honest. And so this is a real win. We'll take it. And I'll just read this to you.
As Aklabar dies before you, he pulls out this bloody letter and pushes it into your hand just before he expires. You take a moment to read it once you're out of danger.
I'm already out of danger. And it says, "The Testament of Aklabar Win.
To the one who finds this, likely with blood still fresh in your hands, I hope you read, not burn. I hope you listen, not pray, because the gods you think you serve are liars. I was once like you."
Actually, I should do it in my Nacho Libre.
"I was once like you, sword in hand, light in the other, shouting to the name of Akvil with spit and fire. A missionary, a true believer. I thought the pillar of light was holy. I thought it waited beneath the temple of flesh, guarded by dragons, wrapped in divine mystery. I heard rumors, an island near Gravenroos where hidden ways down into the deep. A mad old mystic named Hamanto said so. The High Dawn laughed at him. I didn't. I followed the Watchers, trailed them through the tunnels older than sin, watched them take the girls the church offered, virgins, pretty ones, frightened. Watched them vanish into the dark, and then I followed. There's no holiness below. There's a void, a chasm so wide it makes you feel like a grain of rot floating in a sea of death. And in the center, built into a castle fused to a stalagmite the size of a cathedral, I saw it. The pillar. Not a beam, not divine radiance. A single eye, round, wet, vast, glowing with the false holy light. The source wasn't the heavens, it was this thing. It twitched, it pulsed. It bled light from burst vessels and wept fire from folds of ulcerated meat. Its body was ruin of flesh and fang, miles of muscle twisted into a throne of agony. The castle wasn't built around it. The castle was it. Bone and sinew ran through every wall. Its teeth grew like spires from the battlements. Its breath came slow and wet and stank of the old graves and burnt offerings. And the Watchers, they danced, wretched, winged, bloated. They weren't angels. They were midwives. They fed it, the girls screaming, alive, and it unmade them, not by teeth, but by fusion. They melted into its skin, added to the mass. Their faces stretched across tumors, their hands twitched from the walls, their mouths kept praying even after their minds were gone. From that obscene womb the demons came crawling, slithering, smiling, every kind you fear in your dreams. The Watchers fed them names, fed them paths back to the surface, into the church, into the ears of those who kneel and beg for the light. We've never served Akvel. We serve Chasm, the god of pain, of birth without mercy, of light that blinds. I ran, coward maybe, but not silent. I made it back. I told the bishops, told them everything. They nodded and smiled. They said they believed me, said they'd send help, said to wait here at this tavern, so I waited. If you're reading this, I wasn't wrong. You are the help they sent. You flip the letter over and it is written on the back of a kind of map. It tells you that you must find the gateway to Midden and descend 9 levels to reach the base of the Pillar of Light. Shit. So it sounds like Church did bad, and I might... Are we the baddies? Yeah, looks like I murdered this guy who was maybe not the worst dude. But you know, that's how it goes sometimes. I'm not proud of it, but I'm not gonna let all of this stuff he has go to waste. So we have barrel-handed crossbow, rusty lantern, painted harness. I'm gonna take all this stuff for sure and just put it right into my pocket. Ooh, we didn't roll his funds. Let's give him he's got to have at least a D10 funds, right? Yeah, we'll put 5 funds in there. So I'm going to add 5 funds to mine too from his pockets, from my little dirty thievery. Okay, so all of these torches can be combined into one 9 torch. And that still only gives us, might have a full inventory. You really have to manage your inventory in this game. All right, so yeah, 4 things. So I'm gonna take all this stuff and we have a full inventory now. And we're about to get paid, get some gold. And so I'm gonna put on his painted harness instead of my lame horned helmet. I'm gonna put the crossbow as my main weapon here. Still haven't gotten a single seal, which is wild. We haven't leveled up anything yet. There's no XP in this game. You just level up automatically sometimes. It's all built into the dice. It's super cool. All right. So I have a good piece of armor now, painted bone harness. Let's go back to the church. Oh, we need to cut off this guy's head. Let's see how that goes. So I'm gonna take my, do I have like a bag? I'm gonna ask if there's some kind of a bag or some rags I can wrap the head in. I guess I could wrap it in his clothes. Yeah, there was the level up I was looking for that I'm not gonna get. So I'm just gonna kind of take the rusty knife and saw his whole head off. I'm gonna drag his body and pull it back into that wine crypt so that it doesn't get seen, and that way the rats will take care of that. And I'm just gonna wrap up his head inside of his own clothes. Hopefully he's got enough that I can kind of put it away. Okay, so let's go to the church. And it doesn't look like there's any more to it as far as the church. So we can go back there. Let's roll through our dangers real quick just to be thorough. We're at Broken Crown, Wine Crypt, and we passed the Provisioner. We're good. And we go from there to the Weed Choke Lane that leads to the Crier, and we run into a challenge. See, this is why you gotta roll them. So we're holding ahead too. So it's not the best time probably to have an encounter. So this is just a level 1 challenge. It's about as easy as it can get. All right, so let's roll on this. I'll show you the challenge table here. So when
all these danger rolls in this game, what's neat is when you fail it, the amount of force that you fail it by defines the type of challenge that you're going to get. And so now we're going to roll this challenge table. And what's cool is it's hard even when you're GMing for other people to kind of balance the challenges where you're getting like logic challenges or agility challenges and not just doing combat. This game does it for you. So 57 is a precision test, track, follow. Interesting. And so something catches my eye here around the crier. There's going to be a benefit if I can tail someone. And so I am going, who would be interesting to tail that I've run into? I'm going to say that it's actually the priest, that not the one, the older one, but the younger one that was upstairs. And I'm going to say that I see him. So I'm going to say that I follow this priest, the first one I encountered, and he heads away from the crier towards the apothecary. So at this point, because we've moved a space, I need to roll against my agility. This is a +1 challenge to see if I'm able to successfully sneak behind him without being seen. I have neutral agility, average. Well, I did have. So I just gained my first seal, finally. That's exciting. And it's a stealth seal. So I just gained. This is how you level up in this game, is you get better at things by doing them. And so you just happen to roll double sometimes, and that becomes your next seal, which is basically your skills. And so it's not always what you expect. And so I wasn't expecting to get better at stealth. I'm actually going to make this a generic stealth, but now I am. So cool. But I still have to re-roll this to see if I even succeeded though. And I did. I did succeed. And so he is going to go to this apothecary. I think what we want to see is that this apothecary, this has to be juicy. Like, what is he getting here? And I think he wouldn't even want to be seen going in the front door because of the church and, magic sort of relationship. So I think he goes around to the back door, and I see the apothecary person, and let's say that she is very goth and chasm looking, and that is sort of the indicator. And she puts a bag in his hand subtly, and he puts some money, so he's buying some sort of herbs or whatever it is, some sort of potion. But he's buying from a very chasm-y sort of lady, just to sort of go with what Aklabar said, that there's this chasm, which is kind of like the darkest pack or like the demonology pact. And nothing is explicitly evil or good, but, aesthetically speaking, it matches that on both sides with these two. And so let's just leave it at that for now, but we'll just, and so let's put that in our game log. We killed Aklabar in the name of the church and gained his head and gear. We then saw the priest from the church buying a potion out of the back door of the apothecary from a very chasm-looking proprietor. And we'll also update our world map to add some information about this apothecary. The proprietor seems to be a very gothic, dark, and chasm-looking woman. And so what happens is you can just build these moments as you go, rather than going in and being like, okay, I need to make this whole apothecary and I need to make a backstory for this lady. Like, forget all that. Use the map and the game log and let them just expand naturally as needed based off of what you're actually doing. And what's cool is over time, it naturally expands and the story just fills in. Even if it starts with these sort of vague ideas and rumors. And so, but what I like the best is we don't waste a lot of time. We just kind of play the game and see what happens. And it's more fun that way. I don't want to know what's going to happen. I want to be surprised. So let's continue to follow him. Does he go, let's ask the dice. Does he go back to the church after this? Yes. Yes, and so he beelines it. He seems to even be almost jogging. And I'm just going to stay out of sight. And so from the apothecary, I need to roll danger again for the apothecary. I'm fine. Proceeds to, you can go straight from the apothecary to the church, and so he does. And I follow him with my head in my bag, and I see him walk into the building looking over his shoulder, but he still doesn't seem to see me. And I just sort of follow in behind him. And let's give this guy a name, just so we're not... actually, let's not. You know, these character sheets are, they're robust, and so let's just wait until we even need to... We don't need to make a whole character sheet just yet. In fact, we can just add the name to the church right now, because there's not really a need for a character sheet until there is a need for it. Again, let's not do any work we don't have to do. But I will go in and just throw up a quick name generation and show you how that works. So in the very back cover of the book is the name generator. And it's really cool because it just kind of depends on whether you want a male or a female. You start with one side and go to the other if it's male, and you start from the other side and go back if it's female. So he's a male. And so we'll just roll on this generator. 59. Mavrin. And his last name is Anwin. Mavrin Anwin. And that's enough information about him. We could add that. We've already got the thing with the apothecary, so let's just leave it for now. Okay, and I'll just show you, as you can see, that's where I added in the journal. So I just added it there. All right. So let's get paid. So I'm going to go back to the contents, go back to the church page, and let's also see what kind of business they're trying to offer us after this. Okay. Church quests. Once baptized and initiated, you gain access to the church's true work, guiding souls and offerings into the Evernother. Escort individuals or items to the nearest Evernother location, paid 1d10 gold per delivery. No bonus for groups or multiple tasks involved. So we want to, God, that's such good money. So we want to find the closest Evernother source, and you find the Evernother by delving into dungeons, and you'll randomly occasionally find a gate to the Evernother, but only if there's an Evernother line on the map. I'll show you in a minute. But first, do I want to go 7-day sanctuary for each quest? I'm good. I'm in good health right now, and I've got stuff. I think I'm just going to get my money, and I'm not even going to ask just yet about the quest, because I know it's going to require me to have access to the Evernother, and I don't know where it is yet. So I'm going to just get my money, and then I'm going to go back into the dungeon that I got sick in and see if there's Evernother down there first, because then we don't have to travel even, and that would be great. But if not, we're going to go find... Oh, no, there isn't, because... Here, let me show you the map. So here's the map, and we are right here, okay? And so the little dotted black lines, that's Evernother. And so there's none under Clubfoot Cross. We'd need to travel to one of the adjacent lands to try and find dungeons. And that's what we're going to have to do. I think that we can just take our gold and go straight to the provisioner and get ourselves like properly outfitted. I mean, let's just take, if we're going to have to go explore, let's just make these church bums come with us, maybe. So we will take the quest and roll it up. So first thing we need to do is collect our moolah. 3d10 gold is insane. We walk into the church holding the head, and we go down remembering exactly where the other priest guided us. And he's does he even see us as we walk down? Yes, he does. Mavrin walks up. You've
looks like you've succeeded in your task. Yeah. Well, let me bring you to the Cardinal. Yeah. He'll be most pleased. Good.
And we go down there and walk in, and he looks up from his table, probably with a little bit of disgust at the probably bloody rags, as I take the head out and hold it out for him like this.
Well, it seems you've succeeded. I suppose you'll want your payment now.
Yeah. But I'd also like to continue the good work.
Well, you've proven yourself quite loyal and a true follower of the faith. I do have more work for you, and I am ready to take a chance on your employment.
Good.
In fact, I have some work right now.
Money first.
Yeah, let me get my money. We're gonna roll the d10s. We'll just take the white one as the gold. 70 silver, so that brings us to 73. Oof, and then a 90, so that's 163. I'm gonna get a horse, buy a house or something. And 40, so that's 203 gold. So, or 203 silver, 20 gold, but still. Freaking frick. Okay, now that we're rich, to do a local delve, escort individuals or items to the nearest Everleather, paid 1d10 gold per delivery. So let's see what they're trying to get us to do. Okay, so I have the church's little D100 list here. Let's see what the job is. 57. Escort a wagon of weeping sacrifices through the blood path. All right, so that means we need to find a trodden area, because to get to the other, okay, so south, we can do that. So with a cart or a wagon, you can't go off the roads, which are the white marks. And if you can see here, right below town, there's a place where the road and the Everleather are existing, as well as in this tile and this tile. So we will try all of those, and we'll just lead the cart, like Lewis and Clark or something, leading those wagons, or Oregon Trail style, except probably to their death. Okay, so nice. We have a lot of money. We're off to a good start. We got a full inventory. Things are starting to look up. Things are starting to look up for Old Gorehound. I'm going to tell the priest,
I accept this mission. I need to get some supplies, and I'll be back to pick up the charge in the morning.
Does he accept this? He does. Okay, so
we ride at dawn.
All right, so I need to go to the provisioner and get myself outfitted. I really wish maybe we'll do the blacksmith too, but let's start. I might want to get a horse too. I got so much money. All right, so we have everything here. We're gonna go to the provisioner first. So number one, let's get on our map. We're at the church, exit to 6, go back towards the apothecary, go through to the crier. Okay, so first we need to roll the apothecary. Let's see if there's any. We're good. Roll the crier. We're good. And then from there I can go to the provisioner. Okay, so let's bring up the provisioner page. I'm gonna probably want a nice pack. That'll just set me up. 65 silver. That's pretty expensive. Let me see if the Delvers or Eveners has the, let me see how much is a horse? I want to see if I'm going to buy a horse. Okay. Yeah, these aren't super cheap. Oh man, these are not cheap. I could get a pony. Small, sturdy, and reliable. Pack mule. Yeah, I'm not going to deal with the horse right now. So back to getting just a good pack and some gear. So let's just grab the right pack for the job. All right. So I've gone through and looked at all the stuff that I want to get from the proprietor here. And I'll just go over what I'm going to buy from this proprietor. I'm going to get a Deepwalker frame pack, which is a very big pack that has 30 slots, which is a lot. And so the way the packs work is I can put, like, I have 9 slots on me as a person, but if I put on the backpack in one of those slots, then I can put all this stuff into the backpack. The only rules with the backpacks is you can't keep weapons inside of them. And so that's one factor to consider. You can't have like a backpack full of weapons. I mean, it makes sense in some cases if it was like knives and stuff, but in reality, no one's putting a sword in their backpack. At least, it's better to not to. So I got the Deepwalker's frame pack, 5 dry rations, iron, oil torch, which gives me a +1 defense because you have to have the torch in your offhand when you're delving. So having a little extra defense, cool. And it also has +1 damage. 5 torch oils, so you can just oil an iron torch rather than getting a whole new torch. 1 water skin, 5 days worth. Flint and steel, rope. I'm gonna actually make this 2 rope. So that'll raise my price to 99 silver. That's my current price. I'm gonna get 5 bandages, and I'm getting really high quality tent, field pavilion, reinforced, wind tight, sleeps 4, +3 sanity on a long rest. So comforts are a huge thing in this game. You want to recover sanity because that's your magic meta currency however you can. And one of the best ways, because you don't just recover it from resting like you do with grid. And so you want to have like comforts or like nice things to make you happy. So like most of this is that, like King's Camp, feather core, silk trimmed, bedroll, +5 sanity on a long rest. That's huge. Whetstone. So a whetstone's nice because if it's slotted, it puts a +1 to damage of bladed weapons. Just like basically implying that you've been sharpening your blades. Smoke leaf, +1 sanity, -2 AGI. So smoke leaf, again, sanity, you lose 2 agility for an hour. This is 3 uses. I have a sewing kit, which lets you repair damaged clothing, and a toolkit to repair damaged armor or weapons. So I'm pretty well outfitted now. And so all of this stuff is exactly 30 slots for all of it. So that's a full backpack. And I still haven't even really looked at what I've already got to maybe pull out of my... I have my crossbow and my torch. Painted bone harness. I'm gonna keep wearing that. Could sell this gilded chalice, I think. Bleeding bag of seeds coated in webbing. Rusty knife. Rusty lantern. That lantern's nice though. I should have just used... I'm gonna keep that. Horned helmet. Bolts. So I need to keep all this stuff right now. I can always throw stuff on the ground. I am going to try and sell this level 4 gilded chalice. So I would take this to the hex binder to see if they'll buy it. And that would be like basically 4d10 silver, I think. Let me double check. A level 4 will be 2d10 silver. So first, let's deduct the money we just spent. 99. So that's going to take us to 104 silver left. But we are loaded, people. We are loaded. So 5, take that to the crier. Okay, we're fine at the crier. And we proceed from there to the apothecary. Still fine as far as danger. And then we'll go from there to the hex binder. And still good at the hex binder. So we're going to go into the hex binder and we are going to try and sell this this gilded chalice that shifts the light. And so typically a proprietor's going to give you half the normal value. And so this is a level 4 item, so that means 2d10 silver. So the white dice will be our silver. So I'm going to go ahead and agree to the deal, and let's roll the dice. 3 silver plus 5 silver. So that's 8 silver. I'll take it. And so that puts our funds at 112. We can get rid of this gilded chalice. Oh, the bleeding bag of seed. I could have just tossed that. What do I do with the bleeding bag of seed? I guess I could have sold that I mean, it's really not worth anything. It's really not. It's got almost no value. I should plant these seeds somewhere. I'll hold on to them for the moment. So I'm going to put my Delver's pack here at the bottom of my gear. And so now I can keep all of that stuff in a separate sort of area. And when you're using a backpack, one thing to consider is when you pull a weapon that's not in your main hand, like during a fight, it takes one action to pull something out of like your regular slots. If it's in a backpack, it takes 2 actions to get it out because you got to take off your pack and rummage and stuff. Just something to keep in mind. It also takes an action to take off the backpack because it is going to be -1 agility or -2 anytime I'm carrying this backpack. So I ain't going to be doing good parkour stuff. I mean, really, I'm not anyway because I already have like pretty mediocre agility. But it would, for instance, I can't do my stealth rolls probably very well either. So just stuff to keep in mind. You'll want to take off the backpack when you're doing business, but somebody might steal it if I leave it. So we'll see what happens. I think that puts everything in good order. I'm going to, I think, just go, oh, I've got a room at the church now, huh? I think the church says it does. You get 7 days of healing and, God, the church really pays, man. That you get to stay and get sanity recovery and healing, and you get a room. So I'm going to go ahead and take that room at the church now that I have everything that I'm going to need. Oh, no, let's go to the blacksmith. One last thing. We'll go to the blacksmith and see about a sick weapon. We deserve this. We've earned a sick weapon, don't you think? I agree. Okay. So we are at the hex binder. We are nice and clean, got everything we need. And we're gonna go back to the crier and roll danger. Good. And now we're gonna go to the blacksmith. And we're still good on encounters. And here at the blacksmith, we are going to see a man about a horse. Now we're gonna get the weapon we deserve. And I'm not sure what that is, but we're gonna find out. Okay, forging a custom weapon is costly and uncertain, but worth it if the smith is skilled. Oh, so first, let's see if this blacksmith is any good. And so let's roll the dice. He is a level 2. That's pretty mediocre. Let's just do it. Let's just get a crappy level 2 blacksmith weapon because it's only going to cost me. I mean, it's funny how everything seems cheap when you feel wealthy. Say a couple hours have gone by, and so the blacksmith pay up front 2d10 coin. Each d10 equals 1 hour of work. They add that to their forging. And I'm just going to go random for fun. So we'll roll the 2d10. 1, nice. 3. So that's perfect. It's only costing me 3 silver. So I give him his measly 3 silver. And he gets to work for 2 hours forging for me. And so we'll add that this is a level 2 blacksmith here in the appropriate place. All right, so let's roll this thing. So we have level 2 plus 2 is a plus 4. So it's not too bad. We might get lucky. And let's see what he rolls us. 4 to 1. Great. So that is 8 to 1, level 7 weapon. Fuck yeah. Okay, so we have a level 7. And what is it? Let's roll and find out. It is a great sword, a level 7 great sword. Yes, this is how we party. Level 7 is yes and. So let's see what the and is. 89. Ignores shields. Sick. So I am going to say, as a tip, I'm going to give this guy a bleeding bag of seeds. All right, this is awesome. So we are so set up right now. We're in a great position, and I think we're going to call it, because I'm just going to go back to the church and I'm going to do a nice siesta, because we're going to go be rested and we're going to leave at dawn. And tomorrow we're going to take this crying cartload of parishioners. I need to write that down in my game log so we know exactly where we're at with this. So, riding at dawn to take a crying wagon of parishioners to find the Evernether on the road south. Pretty good first session here. We've had pretty eventful. It started out a little rough. When in our game log, we're just gonna kind of remind ourselves where we are, what we're doing. I don't think we're gonna forget tomorrow, but typically I'd also write down like what map square I'm in. I'll just do it for T75 at the church. So I'm staying at the church. I'm in one of their little cells and I've got all my stuff, and I'm just gonna wait it out until the morning, keep my head low, and take this quest and hopefully get another pile of gold, because I'd like to maybe get a horse in the near future. And we'll do this quest because it sounds fun to do a cool like deep Evernether dive and show you guys what that looks like. We've got great equipment now, and so I think we're ready. We are pretty packed poor. We're pretty seals poor. We haven't leveled up very much, but maybe next session. So this was fun. I'm looking forward to seeing what happens in the next episode. Let's see how far we can take this journey. I hope you'll come with me. Like and subscribe. You can pick up the book for Ruinhorn if you want to play as well. We haven't gotten to the first event yet, and I will say that's probably a good thing, because you got a good taste of the game here, but once the events start kicking into play, you're really going to see it's rough, because it'll show you why you want to play this game so much, but it'll also spoil it. So if you feel like you're already excited about this game, just get it and start playing, and don't watch any more of my stuff until you've gotten at least to the first event, because that really it's just so fun to go into it blind. Thanks for spending this time with me and crawling with me, and I'll see you in the spiral, my friends.